Hi, this is attorney Nicole Christie from the Christie Law Firm, where we work hard to make families stronger. So today I want to talk to you about the strength of a case in juvenile court. Now, we as attorneys, we like to talk about the strengths and weaknesses of a case because that helps us determine how we should proceed. So today I'm going to talk just about what is considered to be strengths of a case. So the strength of a case depends on whose side you're looking at. So when looking at a DCF case, when I assess the case strengths and weaknesses, I think about my client as the parent, and then I think about DCF. And so if I start with my client as the parent, I look at what has my client done right? What has my client been able to succeed at doing? So that's a strength in the case. What does my client have proof of? So for example, if DCF is saying, mother never went to treatment or never went to counseling, and yet my client has a letter, that's a strength for the case. I look at the bond between my client and the child. So if there's a strong bond, there's a potential to, that of a disruption to this child if that child is separated from their parent or not allowed to return to their parent. So I look at that as a strength of the case. And so that is what I would try to prepare for, and I would say to the judge and point out all of the highlights of the strengths of the case. When it comes to DCF, I look at the strengths of their case, and one of the strengths of their case is, again, documentation. That is a big strength for them, in that if they're able to provide documentation, that's very persuasive to a court. So for example, if they can list that out of the 35 visits that they offered to the parents, that the parents only came to 15 of those visits, and they can give dates and times, that's a strength for them. If there is a issue about child abuse and there's a mark on the child, and they have forensic evaluators or forensic doctors being able to point out that this is consistent with abuse or what they call non-accidental injury, that's a strength in their case. If they can point to a long history of substance abuse with the parents, and they can give dates and times of referring the parents to treatment, and the parents haven't followed through with that treatment, that is also considered a strength in their case. So when the court looks at a case, they have to look at all of those factors. In the next video, we'll talk about weaknesses in the case and how to overcome them. But if you've got enough strengths in your corner, you can document. Now, that's the key for any parent defending a case against DCF. You have to document, because that's what DCF is required to do. It is not easy to just come into court and say, I did it, I did all of the treatment, they just don't know about it, or I don't have proof. That's going to be hard for a judge to decide, because they have to determine if it's going back home to the parent is in the best interest of the child. While you as a parent have a right to raise your children, and it's a fundamental right, it's recognized by our Supreme Court. However, that right does not overcome the right of the child to have a protected home, to be raised without abuse or neglect. So the best interest of the child is what becomes focal. And if the best interests are in conflict with the parent's right to raise the child, it's going to be the best interest of the child that wins out. So keep that in mind. So you want to present to the court that you are able to care for your child, that all of the issues that were noted, that you have addressed or negated those issues by providing proof yourself. So when you're meeting with your providers, if DCF has referred you to any provider, make sure you get the documents yourself in your hand saying, no, I did all of the treatment. I don't know what you're talking about, but I sat with my provider and we have this letter. Make sure your provider has been in contact with DCF so that they know what the issues are and they're not operating in the dark. Because if they're operating in the dark, DCF could say, well, mom never told the clinician the truth, and therefore we don't have really any documentation of her addressing the issues that DCF noted. So these are the things that you can do to really strengthen your case, and understand that DCF is working on strengthening theirs. But one of the things that I have found is sometimes DCF doesn't have all the documentation. And if you do, you can be persuasive in court. So if you have any questions or need assistance in your DCF matter, please don't hesitate to contact our office. We have other videos about DCF, so please check those out. And anything that we can do to just at least educate the community is what we're trying to do, because we know that if we help kids and their parents, that those kids, we can have a better community, we can have a better society if we have strong families. So take care until the next time.